what happened with Portugal? I mean, have they underachieved at this stage?
Oh, I think you would generally say that they've underachieved in the group. Definitely. They also took the lead really early in that game at home against Serbia. So from that position, you'd have thought, well, show a degree of control and you'll be okay, even when it comes back to 1-1. What I would say in that game, I thought Serbia were excellent. And I think probably when you look at that group, it would be churlish to underestimate what Serbia have done, because in that game they were excellent. They had a string of chances and they really did push Portugal incredibly hard. So then why it's not working is a curiosity, really. I would imagine Portugal will still have enough to go through from the playoffs. A bit like Italy. I would be surprised if either of those two countries didn't end up at the World Cup, even though the playoff route is slightly different this time, and probably does rely on a little bit more effort than it might have done before. But it's curious. I mean, you look at Portugal and you try and find the holes. I mean, they've got some really great experience dotted through the team. They've got some incredibly talented youngsters, so they've got a really nice blend. They've got players all playing, well, from what I can tell, pretty regularly at really good levels. So you can't really put your finger necessarily on why it didn't work. Short of the fact, as I said, that Serbia, I thought were really impressive and just had a greater degree of urgency and composure, I thought, in the game on Monday, was it? I can't remember which day of the week it was now, but whichever day it was. And so that was a real surprise. And I think when you look at, you have the constituent parts and they're maybe not being used as well as they should be, then generally you have to look at the head coach as to whether there's something wrong there in terms of how they're being put together and what they're being told to do on the pitch.
And we saw Cristiano Ronaldo gesticulating madly to Fernando Santos at the end. I'm sure you saw the video as well. He opted to not play Bruno Fernandes. And I know that he's been criticized for his performances with the national side, but maybe the argument is the manager's not playing him correctly. It was justified that Renato Sanchez, his replacement, scored, yes, but just trying to look at the bigger picture here, Dermot. Fernando Santos, what do you think?
Yeah, like the comparison with Spain is pretty stark. Spain have Luis Enrique, who is the star, and then they have a lot of players who can come in and out. They have a lot of young players, a lot of players at the smaller clubs. At Portugal, the players from this perspective anyway, seem like the stars. You've got your Ronaldo, Bruno, you've got João Felix, a lot of players who are at top clubs, almost too many players, Diogo Jota as well. And the coach has to try to make them happy. And it's not working out. Like Santos did amazing with Portugal to win the Euros, then they won a Nations League as well. But it was all based around really solid defence. You had Pepe there, you had Jose Font, you had these really tough, strong defenders, and you had maybe Ronaldo up front and a couple of attackers who would score the goals or eke out the wins. Now they have this new generation of talented players, and Fernando Santos doesn't really seem to know how to use them best. I saw a good bit of Portugal because, I'm Irish and Ireland were in Portugal's group as well. And Ireland gone through a pretty horrible transition phase, lost at home to Luxembourg in the groups, which was pretty, embarrassing or brought a lot, maybe shouldn't have been embarrassing, but it brought home the level that Ireland we're currently at. And then Ireland went to the Algarve in September and were 1-0 up against Portugal, played really, really well, played better than Portugal in the game. And then Ronaldo scored 2 late goals to get them out of a hole there. But Portugal hadn't deserved to win that game. Portuguese pundits and what we've seen here in Spain is that and Ronaldo as well, complaining about a goal in the first game in Serbia, where the ball was over the line, that the officials didn't see it and they believe they should have won that game, which would have set them up better. From Ireland, we're like, we should have had a penalty against them. We should have beaten them as well. So those kind of decisions, I think, you wouldn't blame the referees for what has happened. I think you'd have to look more at the coach and maybe at some of the senior players as well, on whether they're willing to follow the kind of detailed tactical instructions that maybe at international level you need at the moment.